I guess I'll go with the 49ers. I think they'll win against the Cardinals, but after two poor performances in a row by the Cardinals, I'm expecting Kyler Murray and Arizona to come out and play much better in a division game. I think
You're tuned in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, guiding your gridiron journey, none other than your host, former NFL lineman, Ross Tucker.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Picks Friday. It's a Winners Friday. And it is a Finish Strong Friday, presented, of course, by DraftKings. I'm Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, 5 teams, 7 years. Most of you know that. I got another doubleheader this weekend, which I'm fired up about. I'm actually recording this in Colorado Springs, Colorado this morning, because tomorrow at noon Eastern time, I've got Navy against Air Force, the first leg of the round robin that's known as the Commanders-in-Chief Trophy. It is absolutely electric. Love these Service Academy games. So fired up for tomorrow's game. Really encourage you guys to check it out if you can. Then I'll go right to Kansas City, and I'll record Monday's show and Tuesday's show from Kansas City, because I'll be in the booth with Kevin Harlan Monday night for the Saints and the Chiefs on Westwood One, which, by the way, you guys can always stream now, westwood1sports.com, or you can stream if you want on like the NFL app, NFL Premium or whatever it's called, NFL Plus. What's it called, Jack? Do you know?
NFL Plus, yeah, there's NFL Plus, I think is what it's called, yeah.
Yeah, NFL Plus. Anyway, you can stream it there as well, which is pretty awesome. Speaking of awesome, that game last night was incredible. I was out with the rest of the crew for the college game tomorrow, and we were all watching it together. You know, the first 3 quarters, then came back and I watched the fourth quarter back in my hotel room by myself. Might have been the game of the year so far. Absolutely amazing. I'll get to that momentarily. But first, we got winners. We got people that go the extra mile because they love the Ross Tucker Podcast Network. People like Jordan Smith, who made a comment on Facebook. Yep, I saw it, Jordan. Facebook.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Actually, I think that was Ross Tucker Pod on Facebook. So you should follow Ross Tucker Pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then follow at Ross Tucker NFL on those same, as well as TikTok. But Jordan Smith made a comment on Facebook. So we love that. Thank you, Jordan. Ross Tucker Pod on Facebook. So you get assigned whatever. You want one of these press passes I've gotten this season, or you want a football card or a picture, let me know. Just email me, ross@rosstucker.com. Include your address, and I'll shoot it to you. And then sponsor confirmation email winner, Tom Duttweiler. Tom sent me an email that he is absolutely loving the Future Fans box that he got for his, I can't remember if it was for his grandson or son, but anyway, they're having a great experience with their Future Fans box, and he used the code Ross, which was awesome. Thank you so much, Tom. Let me know what you would like. And then the YouTube shout out is William Osborne, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Absolutely love sending you guys a customized video for whoever you want the shout out for. Just subscribe on YouTube, make a comment. It's that easy. youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Still getting the patrons, by the way. Patreon.com/RT Media. Alexander Harris, Jack Markham. Welcome to the family. Big Show time.
The Big Show.
All right, Ross. Last night, defense was optional. Offense was mandatory. Falcons, they get it done overtime against the Bucs, 36-30.
Just an incredible football game. Probably the game of the year so far. And I tweeted early in the game at Ross Tucker NFL that it felt like the game was defense optional. I mean, both Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield came out absolutely on fire. If you guys missed this one, this is one you don't want to miss. And honestly, I think you know me well enough now, Jack, to know I love when anybody, but especially players, can just totally annihilate any of the narratives surrounding them. The Kirk Cousins primetime thing is over. It's over. We saw the game-winning drive against the Eagles a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Football. Now we see the game-tying drive at the end of the game last night, which I'll get to, which was incredible. And then he had the game-winning drive in overtime. And oh, by the way, Kirk Cousins threw for over 500 yards. 500 yards. And you know what's crazy? It could have been even more. Darnell Mooney had one of the worst drops I've ever seen. Now, Darnell Mooney had a big game. A lot of guys for the Falcons in the passing game had a big game. But just the last couple minutes was crazy, right? I mean, the Bucs are up by 3. So here's all you need to know. The first almost 4 full quarters was just a back and forth affair with primarily Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins just being on fire. Just absolutely on fire, which was awesome. And everybody was getting involved. Everybody. Mike Evans, everybody on the Falcons. Big night for Drake London and Darnell Mooney, etc. But just the last couple minutes of the game, I mean, Bucky Irving fumbled. Well, first, I think what happened was, gosh, there's a lot that happened. I'm trying to go back over it in my head, Jack. So first, the Bucs are looking to run the clock out. Okay, they have the ball with less than 2 minutes left, and Bucky Irving fumbles. Bucky Irving fumbles the ball. Okay, so then the Falcons get it, and the Bucs were up at that point 3, and they were in Falcons territory. Falcons get it. This is their time. They can't muster. They have a penalty. They have the bad drop by Mooney, and so then Kirk Cousins, it's like 4th and 15. He has to fit the ball in there. Levante David intercepts it. So similar to when the Gardner Johnson made the play for the Eagles, you felt like, okay, well, that's probably it. You know, that's probably the game. The Bucs have the ball, blah, blah, blah. Except the Bucs, they're not able to even get a field goal because there's a holding penalty on Graham Barton, although they missed a face mask penalty, which was egregious. So the Bucs get moved out of field. They were in field goal range. They get moved back out of field goal range. They end up punting it. The Falcons get the ball, and Kirk Cousins, they completed a pass to Drake London with 8 seconds on the clock, and somehow all got down there fast enough to spike it with 1 second. It was incredible. And next thing you know, Younghoe Koo is drilling it to go to overtime. Then in overtime, Cousins leads him right down the field. Kadero Hodge takes like a 45-yard pass all the way to the house, and that was the game. Just an incredible, incredible football game all the way around. I mean, I loved it. It's almost good enough that if you didn't watch it, you should go ahead and watch the replay because it was that good. Speaking of that good, that's how I feel about West Shore Home, and that's why we're going to do another project, and it's going to be the entry door to the detached garage, like my studio. So you guys will actually get a chance to see my studio now if you go to westshorehome.com/Ross. I don't know exactly when we're doing it, but they came over the other day, the guys. We've already replaced 2 bathtubs with showers, including in my daughter's room, who absolutely love it. And then we did the front door to the whole house, which they tell you is an incredible return on investment. If you're looking to sell your house at any point, they have this unbelievable design tool where you can see what any of these things would look like on your house. You know, you can see what it would look like. It's like that technologically advanced. Really, really impressive. Anyway, my listeners, that's you guys, can get free installation with 48 months, 0% interest, plus an extra $500 off. Just visit westshorehome.com/Ross to redeem. That's westshorehome.com/Ross. Remember, I'm giving away a Madden to somebody that just goes and gets the free estimate at westshorehome.com/Ross. Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together with good drinks and good folks. Smirnoff's the world's #1 vodka and an official vodka partner of the NFL. And this year, Smirnoff is giving fans in select areas of the country a chance to win the ultimate game day experience, from tickets to sideline passes and much more. Just head to WeDoGameDays.com until November 15th to enter for your chance to win. Smirnoff, We Do Game Days. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff number 21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age. No purchase necessary. 21 plus. Ends 11/15/24. See rules at website for participating areas and other important details. Sponsored by Diageo Americas Incorporated, New York, New York.
Want to know which team is going to win every single game on Sunday? Then listen up.
All right, Ross, we'll kick off Sunday morning. We got the Jets technically at the Minnesota Vikings.
Technically not at the Minnesota Vikings, Jack, because it's in London, across the pond, in Tottenham. That game's going to be awesome. There's a lot of awesome fans over in the UK. A lot of them happen to be listeners of this show. I love when you guys get a good game over there. I love the absolute kaleidoscope of colors. I've kind of gone back and forth on this one because it feels like this is just the way the NFL works. Vikings are riding high. They're 4-0, best team in football, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the Jets coming off a really bad loss at home against the Broncos. I call it a gut feeling. I don't know. Call it whatever you want. I think the Jets get this done. I don't think the Vikings are going like 10-0. This would be the type of game that they would lose. And I do think the Jets will bounce back. You know, with their aspirations this year, they need to bounce back. They can't go 2-3. I think Rodgers plays much better. I think they pick up Brian Flores' blitz. I think they're able to get after Sam Darnold, get some pressure on him. I might be wrong, but I'm taking the Jets to get this win. I think it's 20-17. The Jets in Tottenham, and you can let the doggies out.
Ross's Underdog of the Week.
Next, we got the Carolina Panthers at the Chicago Bears.
So I think the Bears will win the game. Now, I do think it'll be a close game, like a field goal game either way. And I think there'll be a decent amount of points in this one because Andy Dalton's playing pretty well, and the Panthers' defense isn't that good. But, you know, hey, don't look now. But this is a great opportunity for the Bears at home to get to 3-2. Then you're starting to feel pretty good about where they're at this point, which I think is a very, very realistic possibility. The Panthers' defense is just really struggling. I mean, and now they lose Shaq Thompson for the year. I mean, it's going from sort of bad to worse for the Panthers' defense. So I think this might be like a breakout game a little bit for Caleb Williams, where he makes some plays and looks impressive. I'll go Chicago 23, Carolina 20. I think Andy Dalton can score a few times, but not enough. Bears get it done 23-20 at home.
Got an AFC North battle. Baltimore Ravens there at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Gigantic game. An absolutely gigantic game. And this feels like another one of those games where everything's saying, oh, the Ravens are on a roll, and the Ravens just won this game, you know, against the Bills, and they blew them out, and the Bengals. I'm a little bit concerned, maybe a lot of bit concerned about this Bengals defense. They haven't really shown that they can stop anyone yet, and now they have the Ravens coming to town. I do think the Bengals are sort of the more desperate team, and I feel like this game could go either way. But I'll take the Ravens. I just haven't seen it at all from the Bengals defense to have faith in it, whereas I've seen it from everything with these last couple games with the Ravens football team. So give me the Ravens, a decent amount of points in this one because Burrow's been on fire, and I think you can put up points against the Ravens secondary. I think it's 27-24 Baltimore. Good game, another good game.
Buffalo Bills are at the Houston Texans.
Ooh, man, there's some good 1 o'clock games. I mean, first of all, the morning game, Jets Vikings, is incredible. But then you look at some of these other games. Ravens Bengals is juicy. Bills Texans, that might be the game of the day. I guess I'm trying to look and see what the later game of the day is. Is it Packers Rams? Man, that's interesting. I think I'd rather watch Bills Texans in the marquee slot. So I think the Bills are going to bounce back in this one. I don't think that that's who they are Sunday night. I think they're a resilient group, so I think they will bounce back. But I still think there will be a decent amount of points in this one. It's kind of the Stephon Diggs game, if you will. I just don't think the Bills are going to lose 2 games in a row. But look for the Texans to do what Greg Cosell said yesterday and really try to put those second-level defenders in conflict because the Bills, it's all backups at the second level, right? That's what Bobby Slowick, the OC for the Texans, is going to do. He's going to try to put the Bills' second-level defenders with no Taron Johnson, no Terrell Bernard, although those guys were limited in practice the last couple of days, and no Matt Milano. Try to put them in conflict. I think the Bills will do a better job. I think this is another high-scoring, fun game. This is going to be awesome for the red zone on Sunday at 1. Give me the Bills to win kind of a shootout here in this one. 28-27 Buffalo.
Next, we've got the Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I haven't even seen, Jack. What's the latest on whether or not we think it'll be Anthony Richardson or Flacco?
I have not heard anything one way or the other particularly. I feel like at this point I would assume Flacco, but yeah, I'm not really hearing one way or the other.
I think it's going to be Flacco because I think they want to make sure that when Richardson goes back out there, he's like 100% and can run. It also doesn't sound like Jonathan Taylor is going to play. Jonathan Taylor has that injury, and I just think without Taylor in the running game, even more of a reason to have Joe Flacco at the helm. And because of that, look, I'm a big Joe Flacco guy. I'm picking the Jags to get their first win. I think the Jaguars, they're not going to be 0-12. They're going to get a win at some point. Colts are coming off back-to-back wins. Now they got to go on the road, probably without Jonathan Taylor. That's a big loss for them. So give me the Jags to get off the schneid, get their first win of the season. I mean, if they don't win this one at home against a backup quarterback, even though Flacco might be more effective than Anthony Richardson right now, but no Jonathan Taylor, that would be ugly, really ugly. I think it's only like 20-17. The Jags win that one and get their first win.
Next, we've got the Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots.
Wow. This is more or less the toilet bowl. I mean, I think these are the last 2 teams in my power ratings. Maybe Jacksonville's 31, but this might be the battle to stay out of the basement in the Ross Tucker Football Podcast power rankings. So that's what this game is about for these teams. Tyler Huntley will get another start. The Patriots are without David Andrews, which is obviously not great and not what you're looking for. So there's a lot going on in this one. Man, it feels kind of like a toss-up to me. Whew. I guess I'm going to take the Dolphins. I think Huntley uses his legs more. I think Huntley is better now that he's got a game under his belt and another week in the Dolphin system. And I think no Andrews is a big deal for the Patriots offensive line. So the Patriots are slight favorite. So I guess we got another underdog with me picking the Dolphins to win the game. 17-16 Miami.
We got a Tucker Bowl. The Cleveland Browns, they're at the Washington Commanders.
Nice. We went right from the toilet bowl to the Tucker Bowl. I love it. So this is like totally, Jack, one of those games I talked about earlier, like Colts Jags or Jets Vikings, where everything, I mean everything, is telling you that this will be the Commanders. They're on a roll. They're on fire. Nobody can stop them. Jaden Daniels, Rookie of the Year. Meanwhile, for the Browns, they can't win a game. I don't know. This is one of those games. I'm not going to pick it to happen because the Commanders have been on such a roll, and also because the Browns are in a bad spot right now in terms of just all the mistakes that they've been making. So I'm not going to pick the Browns to win the game, but wouldn't be surprised at all. I do think it'll be a good game, and I do think the Browns defense will do a better job than these other defenses have against Jaden Daniels. I'm still going to go Commanders, but it's more like 23-20.
Got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos.
The Raiders. A lot of stuff swirling around the Raiders, of course, with the rumors about a trade for Devontae Adams, and Antonio Pierce is focused on the guys that are there. It sounds like Max Crosby will play. The Broncos kind of believe right now, both these teams coming off of wins. The Raiders found their run game, which I think was huge, and they showed with Gardner Minshew that they can move the ball even without Devontae Adams, and getting Crosby back would be significant. I don't expect there to be a ton of points in this game. I think this is like a lower scoring game. Feels like it could be 17-13 either way. The most consistent group in this game has been the Broncos defense. So I like to, in a situation where there's a lot of unknowns or I don't really know what to expect, I'll go with the unit that I have confidence in, and that is the Broncos defense. 17-13 Denver.
Arizona Cardinals at the San Francisco 49ers.
You know what's funny is for the second week in a row, I'm going to make the Niners my Larceny lock of the week. And it's presented by Larceny Weeded Bourbon. Lock in a win and seize tonight. Bardstown, Kentucky, 46% alcohol by volume. Think wisely, drink wisely. This is a tough week for Survivor picks. I mean, look, it's been a brutally tough season for Survivor picks. I guess I'll go with the 49ers. I think they'll win against the Cardinals, but after two poor performances in a row by the Cardinals, I'm expecting Kyler Murray and Arizona to come out and play much better in a division game. I think it goes to the end, but I also still think the Niners are my best Survivor, knockout, suicide, whatever you want to call it, pick of the week. Give me the Niners to get it done, but in a close, fun game, 24-20 San Francisco.
Got the Green Bay Packers there at the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, I like the Packers to win the game. Rams are just so beat up right now. I do think, the coaching will be awesome in this game. I think 27-24, Jordan Love and the Packers get it done on the road.
Got the Rocky Bernard Bowl, the Giants there at the Seahawks.
Wow, Rocky Bernard Bowl. How about that? I like the Seahawks to win the game. It doesn't sound like Malik Neighbors is going to play with his concussion, even though that was 10 days ago. That's not a great sign, that he's still not out of concussion protocol. And without him, I mean, the Giants are a totally, totally different team. Give me Seattle. I feel very good about Seattle. Maybe they should be the knockout pick without Malik Neighbors for the Giants, and it's looking that way. I'll take Seattle 23-16 over the Giants.
Dallas Cowboys there at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Just a classic game, man. I don't know. Have you ever watched any of those NFL film Super Bowls and stuff from the 70s, Jack?
What, with like Terry Bradshaw and like Roger Staubach going back and forth?
Roger Staubach. I mean, I guess they only play each other in the Super Bowl twice. It just feels like more than that. I mean, that's why there's so many Cowboys and Steelers fans, basically the 70s and what those teams were like. I got to go Steelers. I mean, the Cowboys are so beat up coming into this one. I don't think Brandon Cooks, DeMarcus Lawrence, Brandon Cooks, I mean Micah Parsons, that's too much to overcome. Steelers offense starting to click a little bit more. I think it's 23-17 Steelers.
And we'll wrap things up with the Saints. They are at the Chiefs.
Saints coming marching into Kansas City just like I will be for that game with Kevin Harlan in the booth. Always fun to be in the booth with Kevin. And I like the Chiefs to win the game. You know why? Because the Chiefs find a way to win every game. But as Greg said, Mahomes isn't playing great. They're not firing on all cylinders at all. I just have more faith in Mahomes late in the game to make the winning play than I do in Derek Carr. Could go either way, but I'll say 23-20. The Chiefs ultimately get it done because that is more or less what the Chiefs do. Other than that, have a great weekend, everybody. Check out the other shows. I think we're done here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.
Shout out myfrontpagestory.com. Love me some myfrontpagestory.com because I love making sure people in your life know how special they are to you. Get a handmade story by a professional all about a loved one in your life. myfrontpagestory.com, backofficeschedule.com, humanheadnyc.com, Sporticulture, Pizza Boy Brewing.